thing that I want to underline is that the priest that offered the sacrifice had to be absolutely without blemish. And obviously, it's not talking about moral blemish. It's talking about physical, external blemish. Let me read from Leviticus 21, verses 17 to 21. Speak to Aaron, saying, no man of your descendants in succeeding generations who has any defect may approach to offer the bread of his God. For any man who has a defect shall not approach. A man blind or lame who has a marred face or any limb too long, a man who has a broken foot or broken hand, or is a hunchback or a dwarf, or a man who has a defect in his eye, or eczema, or scab, or is a eunuch. No man of the descendants of Aaron the priest who has a defect shall come near to offer the offerings made by fire to the Lord. He has a defect. He shall not come near to offer the bread of his God. In other words, the priest had to be without blemish. The priest that offered the sacrifice. But also the victim that the priest offered had to be without blemish. Notice Leviticus chapter 22 and verses 20 to 22. Leviticus 22 and verses 20 to 22. Speaking about the victims that were offered in the sacrificial system, we find Moses writing this, whatever has any defect, you shall not offer, for it shall not be acceptable on your behalf. And whoever offers a sacrifice of a peace offering to the Lord to fulfill his vow, or a freewill offering from the cattle or the sheep, it must be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no defect in it. Those that are blind or broken or maimed or have an ulcer or eczema or scabs, you shall not offer to the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them on the altar to the Lord. In other words, the priest that offered the sacrifice had to be without blemish, and the sacrifice that he offered also had to be without blemish. Now let me ask you, why did you have to have a priest without blemish and a victim without blemish? Because as we're going to notice, this pointed forward to the fact that Jesus was going to officiate his own sacrifice. Many times in the book of Hebrews, we're told that Jesus offered himself a sacrifice. But in order to offer the sacrifice, he had to be an unblemished priest. And he also had to be an unblemished sacrifice. And in all of this system in the Old Testament, God was foreshadowing the gospel, the fact that a perfect priest and a perfect sacrifice would come in the future to live the life that human beings should live and to die the death that human beings should die. But folks, none of these sacrifices actually took away sin. Legally, no one was saved until Jesus lived his perfect life and died on the cross of Calvary. Now you say, weren't people saved in the Old Testament? Yes, they were. Do you know how they were saved? By seeing Jesus Christ in their sacrifices, the Jesus that would come in the future. In other words, they were saved by looking at the sacrifices and seeing in the sacrifices and in the priest the future coming of the Messiah. They had faith in the Messiah. We are saved in the same way, only we look back to an accomplished fact.